Greetings to all lovers of mystique and secrets. For over 100 years, archaeological excavations and research have been ongoing in the territory of Egypt. During this time, scientists have made numerous discoveries. Many of them truly astonished and even changed the perception of the history of ancient Egypt. But there are also findings that have frightened researchers. Many believe that they are cursed and bring misfortune to anyone who touches them. Is this really true? In this video, I will tell you about the most incredible discoveries on the territory of Egypt throughout its history. Mummies with golden tongues. In 2021, archaeologists in Egypt unearthed a mummy with a golden tongue in its mouth. Its approximate age is estimated at 2,000 years. The archaeology team discovered 16 rock-cut burials and tombs. Inside were poorly preserved mummies. It is believed that amulets made of gold foil in the shape of tongues were placed with the deceased so that they could speak before the court of Osiris in the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians believed that Osiris was the lord of the underworld and the judge of the dead. Scientists also found funerary marble masks and several gold coins with the name of the Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra. Mysterious underwater city. For many centuries, there was a legend of the mysterious city of Heracleon. It was mentioned in some ancient Egyptian records, but for millennia, it remained deep underwater. After years of searching and surveying the extensive bay off the coast of Egypt, a French archaeologist and his team spotted a huge stone face on the seabed. This was just the beginning of a grand discovery. Among the underwater ruins were 64 ships, treasures, gold coins, enormous statues, and even the remains of a massive temple. The ruins and artifacts were well preserved, providing insight into the fact that 2,300 years ago, this place was one of the largest port cities in the world. Heracleon controlled all trade in Egypt. The city resembled modern-day Venice, consisting of numerous islands separated by canals. The main mystery remains the reason for the demise of this place. Scientists still do not fully understand why the enormous Heracleon ended up underwater. In 1939, archaeologist Pierre Montet discovered the tomb of Psusennes I, a pharaoh who ruled Egypt approximately 3,000 years ago. The most interesting detail of this discovery is that the pharaoh was buried in a coffin made of silver, and he also had a golden burial mask. Because of this find, Psusennes came to be known as the Silver Pharaoh. Vessels containing some of the pharaoh's organs during burial were also found in the tomb. Since the tomb was discovered at the onset of World War II, it received little attention from the media. One of the main mysteries of this discovery is the unprecedented wealth of the burial. Silver was a much rarer precious metal for ancient Egypt compared to gold. The luxury of the tomb suggested that the pharaoh was highly successful in financial and political matters during his reign. However, Psusennes was not such a pharaoh, raising many questions among historians. The Rosetta Stone. In 1799, historians discovered a mysterious stone in Egypt with inscriptions in 3 different languages. Only one of these languages was known to scholars, Greek. However, since the Greek inscription conveyed the same message as the other 2 languages, it helped scholars decipher the unknown languages. The Rosetta Stone contained a decree written by the Council of Priests, confirming the right of Pharaoh Ptolemy I to rule Egypt. The pharaoh was only 13 years old at that time. The scientific group accompanying Napoleon's military expedition found the stone in 1799, and later the British seized the stone, which is now in the British Museum. Egyptians have been asking Britain for years to return the stone to its original homeland, but consistently receive refusals. Tutankhamun's tomb. The tomb of Tutankhamun in the Egyptian Valley of the Kings is possibly the most famous archaeological discovery not only in Egypt but worldwide. It was unearthed by a team of archaeologists in 1922. The tomb contained fantastic treasures, as well as the posthumous mask of Tutankhamun and his mummy. 100 years ago, this discovery immediately caused a sensation. Many journalists claimed in newspapers that the mummy contained an ancient curse. Legend had it that the tomb was protected by a terrible curse that killed anyone who dared to enter and disturb Tutankhamun's rest. Indeed, less than a year after the discovery, the head of the expedition, Lord Carnarvon, died from a mosquito bite. Many naturally concluded that the curse had worked. Furthermore, shortly before the archaeologist's death, his dog also died. All these events long solidified the reputation of Tutankhamun's tomb as cursed. After many years, researchers dispelled this myth. They gathered information about dozens of participants in that expedition and found that their lifespan did not differ from the average, and they died of natural causes. Tutankhamun became known, in part, because he died as a teenager. Analysis of his remains showed that he suffered from various health problems and walked with a cane. Tutankhamun ruled for less than 10 years in the 1300s before Common Era. The Valley of the Golden Mummies. In the mid-90s of the last century, a group of archaeologists excavated a large burial site near Cairo. Initially, about 100 mummies were found. Some had golden masks and gold plates on their chests, while others were simply covered with clay or fabric. Since then, hundreds more mummies have been found in this area, but scientists are sure that this is far from all. They assume that the total number could reach 10,000, and their age is approximately 2,000 years. The large number of mummies buried with golden masks and expensive jewelry suggests that several thousand years ago, a fairly affluent population lived in this area. The Lost Golden City. In 2021, to the south of the Egyptian capital Cairo, the Lost Golden City was discovered. It is one of the largest ancient cities ever found by archaeologists in the country and one of the most significant discoveries since the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb a century ago. Preliminary estimates date the city to 3,000 years ago. Several areas, untouched high walls, and even a bakery have been preserved. Mummy of Amenhotep I. Egyptian scientists, using modern technology, managed to uncover the secrets of a mummy estimated to be around 3,500 years old. The mummy of Amenhotep I was discovered over a century ago. Usually, pharaoh mummies were not wrapped in a shell, but the mummy of Amenhotep was covered with a dense layer of fabric. For the past century, scientists hesitated to remove the shell and mask to avoid damaging the contents. Only in 2021 did specialists from Cairo University use 3D computer tomography to reveal what was beneath the layers of clothing. The scan allowed researchers to examine Amenhotep I's body in unprecedented detail. For example, scientists found that Amenhotep was about 35 years old at the time of his death. The cause of his death is still unknown. Researchers failed to find signs of violent death or any illness, so it is still unclear what caused the death of Pharaoh Amenhotep. Papyri from the Pyramid Age. In 2013, a group of archaeologists announced the discovery of a port built along the Red Sea about 4,500 years ago during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. Among the findings are papyri that tell about the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the largest pyramid ever built. According to the papyri, limestone used for the external cladding of the Great Pyramid was transported from a quarry in Giza via the Nile River and a series of canals. According to the papyri, one boat trip to deliver limestone took about 4 days. Oxyrhynchus papyri, another set of remnants of ancient papyri that truly amazed scientists. Between 1896 and 1907, archaeologists discovered over 500,000 fragments of papyri, dating back about 1,800 years. Researchers found fragments in the ruins of Oxyrhynchus, a large ancient city in southern Egypt that thrived when Egypt was under the rule of the Roman Empire. The arid conditions of the city led to the preservation of the papyri used by the inhabitants, lasting almost 2 millennia. The papyri include a Christian gospel, a magical spell, and even a contract for organizing a wrestling match. Despite scientists working on the decipherment of these papyri for over 100 years, many of them remain untranslated, likely preserving numerous secrets. Mummy of Ramesses II. Many historians consider Ramesses II the most powerful pharaoh in the history of Egypt. He ruled for 6 decades in the 1300s BCE and lived over 90 years. By rough estimates, he fathered over 100 children. Initially, his body was buried in the Valley of the Kings, as was customary for a pharaoh. But later, ancient Egyptian priests moved him to thwart looters. In the late 19th century, the mummy of Ramesses II was discovered in a secret royal cache along with the mummies of over 50 other members of ancient Egyptian nobility. In the last decade, the condition of Ramesses II's mummy has deteriorated significantly, and today, extensive work by specialists is required to preserve the artifact. KV5 tomb, the largest tomb ever found in Egypt. Although archaeologists discovered it a long time ago, in the first half of the 19th century, the real investigation of this find began only 25 years ago. This tomb belonged to the children of Pharaoh Ramesses II. It is a complex consisting of 70 burial chambers branching off the main corridor, containing thousands of clay figurines, treasures, and a large statue of the god Osiris. The news of the discovery of this tomb became a real sensation for archaeologists. The Pyramids of Giza. Undoubtedly, these pyramids are one of the main discoveries of scientists in the territory of Egypt. The image of these pyramids from the suburbs of Cairo is known to absolutely everyone. That is where the well-known Great Sphinx is located. Inside these pyramids are numerous rooms and hidden chambers, and the complex is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Nevertheless, history is much more interesting than it is presented to us. If you found it interesting, like and share this video with your close ones so they can learn the truth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as many fascinating studies lie ahead of us. Thanks for your attention, and see you in the new videos.